going to talk about business analysis framework and why is this important. Now, the job of a business analyst, as you've heard throughout this lesson, is that it's very key in helping organization move towards efficiency and profitability, because this is such a critical role and the work you do has a tremendous amount of impact on how efficient or how the organization is going to progress. Of course, you're going to work with different stakeholders, but this is such an important role to move company towards efficiency. You need a framework to be able to think through some of the business analysis activity that you'll be performing. Now, the business analysis process framework, gives you a structured approach for undertaking your business analysis work so that you can help your organization clearly move towards efficiency and you can communicate the risk and manage it correctly, right? You can be compliant with any regulations and laws or compliance component that you need to be aware of. You need to be able to also help you solve problems, actual problems, and not create new problems. This is very important as you think through, the framework, right? Because it gives you that holistic and structured approach for you to always circle back to and perform your business analysis role. Because without a framework, you might sometimes wonder, depending on the context you find yourself, where am I supposed to start from? What am I supposed to do at this point? Because sometimes you might not be involved at the start of a project. You might be hired as a business analyst and project already kickstart, already running, and a lot of things might have gone wrong. So you still need to be able to find yourself so you can add value. So the framework, to start the framework, first you need to always get the context right. The context of your project, right? So you need to always know what context am I in? Like what kind of business structure are we running here? Like what type of stakeholders do I have here? What's the project constraint? What are some of the project constraints that I need to be aware of, relating to this context? Am I kind of working on a technology project or a process improvement project or your new market expansion, some of these components that we talked about earlier, right? So once you have a good understanding of the context, then your next step is to discover the primary objective. Like what is the objective of what we're trying to achieve, right? What is the objective? What are we trying to achieve? So once you're able to work with your stakeholders and understand the objective, like I said, it might well be that you are joining the program in the middle, the project is already running. So you still need to circle back and understand the context, the objective probably has been documented by another business analyst. So you still need to circle back, understand the objective. Objective can be, I'm working, say for example, context is we are let's say we are an inventory management, a supermarket, like a big chain supermarket, right? So we have large inventories and all of that. We want to ensure that we have 50% market share in Australia. So we are the likes of the 𝐂𝐎𝐍𝐶 or the Woolworths, those big two have the largest share. So let's assume that we are this big retailer. I understand that 𝐂𝐎𝐍𝐶 and Woolworths has 70% share. So assuming that they have 35% each, we are the new kid on the block. We want to achieve 50% market share in 5 years, right? So that's our objective. That's our own objective, our mission, what we want to do to ensure that every suburb, every city, we have this new supermarket right? Let's say ABC supermarket, and we want to position ourselves, and in 5 years we get 50% market share. That is a lot. That's an ambitious target. As you can imagine, 𝐂𝐎𝐍𝐄𝐓 has 70% market share last time I checked. So assuming they have 35%, and you know that they are the dominant player, so for you to set 50%, target, is it too ambitious, right? Maybe not. Okay, let's assume that it's too ambitious. Let's just say a more realistic one. We want to get 5% market share in a year. So 5% market share in a year. That's our objective. Then we need to define the scope of this project. What we want to do. What are the things that we will do to be able to achieve this 5%? Right? It means that first of all, we need to try to be in all the major states. ABC supermarket has to be in all the major states, right? Like all the states rather in Australia. So all the states, they must have at least 20 supermarket chains, all the states. And Australia has about 8 states, right? So we can say that is our scope. And beyond the 5% share, beyond having 20 supermarket chain in every state, we also want to ensure that things like customer satisfaction rating is 4.5 over 5. So that means every customer that comes to ABC supermarket always are delighted. And in saying that, it means that the price has to be right, customer satisfaction, things. So there's a lot of process we need to define. So you need to define that scope fully, working with your stakeholders, right? Depending on the type of framework, which we'll still talk about, the software development or software methodology that we want to adopt. But you need to define the scope nonetheless. The next is develop a business analysis plan. We've talked about some of the planning considerations, right? You need to know what the change is, you need to know the need, what we're trying to solve, and it will become clearer as we do these 2 steps previous steps, right? So we need to develop a plan of how we'll tackle some of these things, right? You need to know when you're engaging your stakeholders, when you gather requirements, when you would analyze, things like that. You would have a plan, right? What the possible solution would be, who would you be speaking to, and then define detailed requirement. Based on your plan, you start to engage your stakeholders. Start to engage the critical stakeholders that you've identified using your plan, right? Then you start to extract, having sessions, meetings with them, extracting requirement from them. As you extract more and more requirement, then you are getting closer to you need to then analyze and flesh it out. You're getting closer to the solution. So you extract requirement, you then go refine it, add more details based on your understanding. Then again, remember where we talked about you being a bridge between your business team and your technical team. So this requirement you've extracted from your business stakeholder, you then need to support your technical team to implement it. So they will start to explain this. If it's a solution, say for example, we would implement our inventory management system so that we can track all the goods. We know how much good we have in shelf, right? So we don't run out of goods, because that ties into customer satisfaction. If a customer walks into a ABC supermarket and they can't find item they've come to shop for, they are dissatisfied. They will not come again, and they will see the supermarket as unreliable. So we need to be able to track our inventory correctly. Assuming we're building an inventory or we're implementing a new inventory, we would need to communicate that requirement, clearly to the technical team. So you need to support technical implementation. Thereafter, you will help business implement the solution, right? So that all this requirement will become solution. So technical team are done with the implementation. You would also kind of test, right? Make sure that it meets requirement that we've extracted from the stakeholders. And then once this is implemented, you would also help them check the value. So basically, you're validating that what has been implemented makes sense for the problem you're trying to solve. Right? It's solving that problem. Else, then you've not done your business analysis work correctly. So once it solves it, then typically that's the end of it. Then you report, do all the closure thing. You'd have realized the benefit of this.